And I observed how they did their evening prayers, and I was very surprised because that camp was very clean and they seemed so disciplined. I said, I guess the same people, same Germans, will go around raping people and torturing people. And then they found the headquarters, the mass in Kupwara, and the commander in Kupwara, the assistant commander, he came to fetch me with his wife. He said he wouldn't allow me to sleep at the PSF camp, and he asked me to write a letter and say that we'll hand this over to the GHK police, that we didn't force you to sleep there. Okay, then in a mini convoy, because along the route, militants would ambush them, and along the route, 45 minutes to Kupwara mess, and at Kupwara mess, there were 3 questioners. One of them was from Uttar Pradesh. He said, Madam, don't worry, we are only detaining you for questioning, so you sleep well. They were very courteous to me throughout, and after 24 hours, they handed me over to the district commissioner's premises. They handed me over, but I heard some conversations that they had a double check with interrogation centers in I heard Papa too, they mentioned, so they knew that I was not blacklisted, so they released me. They didn't know that I had interviewed the Director General of BSM in Delhi. And when the UK said that to detain in Iran, and the Iranian news agency asked me for my comments on this, I did mention this episode that, that Iran also would hand over the sailors according to international routine procedure, but somehow they didn't mention this in Iran. Anyway, another misconception, the all-party Soviet conference, some people have said that Pakistan formed the Soviet conference. Of course not. It was Middle East Kashmir, who formed the all-party Soviet conference comprising 32 parties in 1992. India always said that they wanted to have an organization to have a dialogue with. And only 14 years later, they got the World Conference to get involved indirectly with the talks. Okay, now, this present normalization talks between India and Pakistan, it only benefits India and Pakistan. It does not benefit the Kashmiris. My 1994 assessment that 3/4 of Kashmiris want independence, a quarter wants merger with Pakistan, and a handful wants to remain with India. I think that assessment is still valid. About 2 years ago, we did some more polls in Kashmir, and we came up with this assessment.
Whatever proposals, you have to consider the demands of the Muslim Kashmiris, both the Sunni and Shia Muslims, the Hindu Kashmiris, the Pandits still living in self-exile in Jammu, the Sadarjis, the Sikhs who have been sympathetic to the Kashmiri cause, the Buddhists, the Christians, the tribals like the Gujars and Bakarwals. It is because of Kashmiri militants' sacrifice and backing that Kashmiris have finally got a more porous line of control, LOC, pre-earthquake, although the Srinagar, Muzaffarabad bus service is a fortnightly service, and its passenger list is subject to official approval. Release of some political prisoners, an election that is not rigged, withdrawal of a token number of the dreaded BSF troops from Kashmir Valley, and all parties Hurriyat Conference is finally, indirectly, included in the peace process talks. But these are minimum demands. Azad Kashmiris always used to feel guilty that they had not contributed any of their boys to the Kashmir militancy, but they too have sacrificed their lives since 1947. There have always been firings from the Indian Army across the line of control, LOC, but since 1988 until the 8th October 2005 earthquake, as retaliation for the Kashmir militancy, the Indian Army fired at villages across the LOC. The whole belt along the line of control, LOC, was a war zone with many casualties. I interviewed some villagers at LOC Chakoti. I also went to Bimber and Iftikharabad along the line of control, LOC. Ironically, Azad Kashmiris and Pakistanis lost some 84,000 lives during the 2005 earthquake. We felt sorry when they needed global humanitarian assistance. Instead of getting the Azadi, independence they have been shouting for, instead they get dependence. Can I go into the economic details? Okay. I started out with a political book, but I concluded with a cultural message. As I always tell Kashmiris, politicians come and go, but your culture remains. On the whole, Kashmiri people are chivalrous. Their men and women can talk to each other, but in a modest, decent manner. Kashmiris are naturally modest. They are progressive, ladies are educated, the children are respectful of elders, they are family-centered society, they are kind to animals, to their environment, they are hospitable to guests, even their dressing is modest and practical. Most important, when a Kashmiri man sees a lady, he immediately feels protective towards her. He treats her like a sister, like an auntie. How more Islamic do you want to be? Ironically, in an area of political instability, there is civilian sanity, whereas in areas of political stability, there is civilian insanity. Azadi for Kashmir Valley, for Kashmir, Insha'Allah. Assalamu alaikum. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.